Hello ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another edition of African News USA, where today we shall be taking a critical look at the DC Africa Festival. Well, this festival organized by the DC Mayor's Office on African Affairs seeks to appreciate the relationship between Washington and the African continent. Joining us all the way from Washington DC this afternoon is Mr. Parfait Mbous. Thank you immensely for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Sharon. DC African Festival will take place right here at the Meridian Hill Park. Meridian Hill Park is located in Washington, D.C., the capital of United States of America. This festival is organized by the D.C. Mayor Office on African Affairs. African immigrant population doubling each decade in Washington, D.C. The number of African-born residents in the United States has doubled every decade since 1970. Washington, D.C. region is the most popular area for them to live, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. The great majority of African residents arrive legally. Most are U.S. permanent, U.S. citizen, or student. Ethiopians represent the large number of Africans in Washington, D.C. According to Joe Wilson, a socialist on Africa and senior research analyst at the Brookings Institution in Washington, quote, "In the most of Africa, capital cities are where you can ahead in education or careers. So Africans who come to America assume Washington, D.C. is the place to go. And Africans are not wrong, because many have good jobs and some do business and showbiz. For example, Jules-Henri Mandanga is a Cameroonian, is a businessman, and he promotes showbiz. He lives in DC area and is the one of African who give the joy of living to other Africans in DC area. He's the owner of a great African restaurant called Kitchenyeyo. DC Mayor Office on African Affairs ensure that the full range of health, education, employment, business, and social opportunity are accessible to the district African immigrant community. The African Festival offers live music, performance, food, arts, and festivity for all age. can you tell me why we are here?
Oh, today we're celebrating the DC Africa Festival. We're gonna have African musician, live music, traditional performances, African food trucks and art exhibits, as well as a resource fair for DC Africans to learn more about what's available to them. Thank you.
Africans still love their own country, but Africans love the United States of America and they love Washington DC area. Parfait Mbous from Meridian Hill Park, Washington DC, Africa News, USA. Back to you, Sharon.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parfait. Indeed, you cited a lot of important points that are in relation with the Washington, D.C. and, of course, the African continent. I have been Sharon Jakes for presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, catch you same time next week, of course, for another edition over African News USA. Bye-bye.